There's some people on the other side, but it's not even close to the number of people who believe Karen Read is not guilty. Why is that? Here to help answer that question, John DePietro, host and creator of Road Patrol Live, and Karen Read supporter Kim Whalen. She's also known as Nurse Kim on TikTok and on YouTube. Great to have you both here. Let me put something else up, because I'm not just grabbing this out of the air, okay? A CourtTV Karen Read poll. You ready? Guilty 13%, not guilty 76%. It's overwhelming, right? Another 5% believe lesser of manslaughter. That was posted 2 days ago. I've done my own poll on my channel. Take a look at these results. Guilty of striking John O'Keefe with her car, 14%. Not guilty because prosecutors did not prove their case, 21%. Factually innocent and wrongfully accused, 64%. Like, it's between 80 and 90% of the people in the public who are voicing their opinions overwhelmingly believe she's not guilty. Nurse Kim, I'll begin with you, because I believe you're one of those 80 to 90%ers. Tell me why. Why do you think the public reaction has been this way?
Absolutely, Vinny. It was great to see everyone from TikTok, since that's where I started last trial for the first trial of Karen Read in the summer of 2024. And since then, we have had 2 full trials now. And the Commonwealth, in my opinion, has not proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Officer John O'Keefe was ever even struck by a vehicle. There are more questions in this case, Vinny, that really bring you back to the prosecution, to the Norfolk DA's office, Canton Police and Mass State Police. What are we doing here? What have the taxpayers of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts had to just fork out hundreds of thousands of dollars? And at the end of the day, we had Hank Brennan ask Dr. Andrew Rentschler, how could this have occurred if Welcher, their own expert, did not provide any accident reconstruction? We're here. We're at a loss for words.
But let me ask you, Kim.
And Karen Read is factually innocent.
I just want to follow up with you, Kim. I want to pull back just a little further from, I get the evidence, right? Mm-hmm. Is there something else at play here? Now, locally, when I meet all those folks outside the courthouse, many of them, if not all of them, are turtle riders. They're followers of Aidan Carney, Turtle Boy, and I know he has spoken a lot about this, right, through the years, has posted a lot and has had a lot of influence on those folks. But here in the retrial, it is coast to coast and around the world where this response is coming from. Do you think there's anything else at play here other than, specific pieces of evidence and testimony in the trial?
Well, yeah, Vinny, because injustice anywhere threatens justice everywhere. And Karen could be any one of us. She could be you, she could be your sister, your daughter, or your mother. And we do not want to continue to see, when our eyes are opened to something as egregious as this, in my opinion, that's why people stand up and stand out literally for Karen Read.
Okay, John DePietro, Johnny Depp, I understood. He's an A-lister, he's a megastar with the mega pint. I understood that. And then things escalated once they started to see and hear the testimony, okay? I understood that. What's your take on what's happening here? Because overwhelmingly, 80 to 90% of the public that is voicing their opinions on this are saying Karen Read is not guilty.
Benny, first of all, look at the defendant. Very few women are on trial for murder in New England. Very few Caucasian women. This is in the inner city. She didn't use a gun or a knife. She used a luxury vehicle, a Lexus SUV. But what I have found, and I've been on this case since July 23, almost 2 years, what it comes down to is social media, and how people learn about it on social media is, in fact, the conspiracy involved in the case. When people follow a conspiracy, and as a member of the media talk host, there's been other conspiracies. There was Sandy Hook. There was, 9/11 was an inside job. When people fall into...
But 90% of the public doesn't believe 9/11 was a hoax. 90% of the people don't believe Sandy Hook was a hoax. But here, 80 to 90% of the people believe Karen Read is not guilty.
It's how they find out about it on social media, and our habits have changed. For those that want to follow, there's plenty of outlets they can go to, and they only follow that news. And when we did the live shows, you heard those people get up and they talk about butt dials and they talk about dog bites, and there's all the common things that they recite. When people chase a conspiracy, they stop looking at anything that stops the conspiracy. It's social media that is driving this. It hooks people in. They think there's something to this. And then there's plenty of outlets. This is not a mainstream media story initially. It was social media. Social media, you're asking the question, why do so many people? It's because of social media and people that get engaged with the conspiracy.
Kim, I'd like your reaction to that because you're one of the influencers on social media. Are you creating the influence?
She is.
Well, I think that I have used my voice and I have been as 100% honest with my best friends from out of town that I talk to about this in every live stream that I have. I go over what we've done in court, what the testimony was, and that is it, Vinny. The facts are the facts, and the lack of facts are the astounding part in this case.
And let me ask you this.
Vinny,
Go ahead, John.
I was going to say, when the walls fall, they don't mention it. And listen, I respect Nurse Kim. There's a lot of nice people on that side. But do they acknowledge that the Google search didn't happen at 227? That's not even being challenged by the defense. They just move on. Remember, this was supposedly in the basement. Now they have in the garage. There was blood on the doorknob. Karen's, she's got the carpeting from the basement. There was someone named that was, Brian Albert confessed to. One thing about the conspiracy crowd, when things fall, no one thinks like, gee, maybe it didn't happen that way. They just move on to the next thing. I think the 227 that Dr. Richard Green's not testifying, that should be major because that was really the cornerstone of this whole thing.
The other thing, though, that I find interesting in all of this is that our camera is in there, right? So people can see and hear the testimony themselves. They can watch the trial, and they're also responding to that. And that's, to me, it's quite unique. Celebrity, I understand. This one, I'm trying to understand, and I think we're getting an understanding. I think you both made really good points about how people got there. The question now is the jury in the courtroom seeing the same trial that all the folks are seeing on social media and here on Court TV? We'll find out soon in this case.